So where are the young people in the space of agriculture? They are here and they will be speaking to us today. On my far right, we do have Mr. Odero Owor, who is a mixed farmer. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today. Karibu Kenya's Gold kwa ground. And we also do have Beatrice Mwende, who is a chili farmer and also an export compliance officer. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today. And I'm going to start with Mwende. Mwende wacha? Good. I had to make sure kwanza tunaongea lugha ya home kidogo. Thank you so much for being with us today. Na nataka uanze kwa kutuambia, for you to decide to become a chili farmer, what pushed you in that direction? Ulianza ukulima wakati upi and why agriculture?
First time I began doing chili farming, it was in the year 2021. 2023, I was working at Kefis. And I could see how many clients could go through different challenges because of the measures that are put in place to comply for export market. And that is now what pushed me into chili farming. But ideally, the main point was I wanted to begin consultancy, and that time I had not interacted with agrochemicals so well. Right. So for me to get into farming directly was to give me an avenue to interact with the molecules that are used in farming. At the same time, could also give me I could be well conversant with the molecules that are already banned in Europe but are already approved in Kenya.
Right.
Because when I'm offering maybe consultancy services, I want to be not to be blank, but at least I have the experience from my own farm.
What opportunity did you see in that chili agri sector yenye kakufanya pia wewe useme this is what I'm going to put my heart in? Na si mmea ingine.
I wanted to be a little bit unique because when you look at the farming and many young people are doing the crops that are very common. So for me, I was like, I want to do a different crop that will also give other people an alternative money-making crop. It's not always about maize and these other things, but there is good money in chilies. That one I can guarantee you.
Right.
So I wanted maybe to offer an alternative. Apart from maize, we can also do chili. It's not common, but it's also another avenue to make good money.
Right. Before we get there, Mr. Odero,
yes.
Umesikia Beatrice amesema yeye hakuwa anataka kupanda kitu ambacho kila mtu anapanda, si kila saa mahindi, but you are a mixed farmer. Nataka tu tuambie hapo kwa shamba yako as a mixed farmer, nakuja napata nini na nini na nini na nini na nini?
You'll find me with cabbages, onions, tomatoes, maize at the same time. I think the benefit of, you'll even find me with animals. So even hata ukulima ya wanyama.
Right. What animals are you keeping so far?
I have rabbits now and Kenyeji chicken, that is the indigenous varieties.
Right.
Breeds, sorry. So what that helps me with is diversification and being in the market all year round.
Right.
Yeah, because you find these crops that only do well in certain seasons. And then of course, because our market is heavily determined by supply, so you find, since most of the farmers in Kenya are doing rain-fed agriculture, there's usually an influx of food after the rains. So if you can manage to do irrigation, actually River Chania is down here. And since we do irrigated agriculture, you can be able to cultivate off-season, you see. And when doing off-season now, you can select which crops are usually more pricey or maybe more expensive or higher value crops that you can sell off-season when other farmers in other areas can't do it. So it's just diversification and the ability to get more money, because now we are doing agribusiness, so you need to do calculated risks.
If you want to be a farmer all year round, without irrigation, that will be impossible.
It will be impossible. Yeah, with climate change and the current situation of the environment, rain is very inconsistent.
Right.
Yeah, so you actually need to find either a permanent water source, that's a river or a lake, or you do boreholes, and boreholes also usually do that thing at times.
So umesema utafute a constant water source, a river, but umesema ni kama kidogo kuna shida na borehole. What are some of those problems maybe ambazo mtu anaweza pitia na borehole?
With a borehole, the person who does the hydrological survey, that is the person who comes to the ground and there's an aquifer or there's an underground, they call them underground rivers. You need to get that right. You need to ensure you're not using quacks. And then the second step, it's hit or miss. They can can tell you down here there's an aquifer.
Yes.
There's one that I did. We went all the way to 170 meters. There was nothing.
Thank you for that insight. I'll come to you, Beatrice. Being a young person, I'm sure you've interacted with a lot of other young people. Kwa maoni yao, what is making them shy away from agriculture?
One thing that I say, it's called self-sabotage. Like you feel how siezi fanya, nitaanza wapi, you know. But it is the attitude of you beginning, and then the things will align themselves.
Right.
The second thing is the fear of where do I get the market. Lazima wenye wako kwa kilimo wakuwe wako na connection ya mtu wa kwa shamba ndo akupelekee kwa soko. You cannot sell ukiwati wewe tu ni mtu tu umeamuka ukapanda, and then they feel like you must have some connections for you to access the market. But that is not true. For me, I always say, when you're getting into farming, you must produce a good quality produce. That one will sell for you. The second thing is being able to provide the volume. Are you consistent in providing meeting the demand? Because some other time unapata mtu anakwambia niko na, for instance mimi niko na chili, unamuuliza unaweza toa kilo ngapi? 70. Surely how do I come from here kwenda Kibwezi kwenda kilo 70 ama kilo 200? Good quality, volume, yes, and be consistent. Like si one off, leo uko nayo kesho tena au, because the moment umeanza kufunza a buyer that you have a certain produce, anataka like ukue someone who is very reliable.
How are you achieving volume, number one, and how are you achieving consistency?
The one that you've just dropped is just intertwined with the volume, because when it comes to chili farming, the volume also is also determined by how well do you manage your crop, even the pest management part of it, because you may also have produce, but cannot meet the market requirement. Right. 1 acre, it's also enough for you to be able to produce even 1.5 tons. Yeah.
And you're growing it on how many acres now?
3.
Great. Are you doing irrigation?
Yes, I'm doing irrigation.
But I also want Mr. Odero to talk to us about that market conversation.
Kuna mtandao, unaona. Sasa kuna hizi platforms zote, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, but specifically Facebook. There's a lot of farmer groups. Kuna group here, Potato Farmers of Kenya, Digital Farmers of Kenya. There are a lot that you can manage to tell people that in the next 2-3 weeks, I have chilies, I have onions that will be ready. And people find buyers. There's farmers who have platforms, agri-influencers, who actually help you source for buyers. There's a farmer who called me from Chogoria, around Meru area, and was telling me they had 8 tons of Jamba F1, that's an onion variety, and they needed to sell them off right now because the prices are really good for onions. They're going for about 110 a kilo, which is quite good. So I had to help them, and I really helped them. So first of all, utilize the online platforms. Second, one-on-one interactions. Just go to the market. Like I had maize that was selling as Mikohoro green maize, and I just went to Makongeni market and just engaged with them, and that is how I sold my maize, about 3 acres. And then one last thing for people who have produce, there's someone who called me and told me an agri-consultant had made them grow about 6 acres of herbs, rosemary, thyme, chives, and now the guy has disappeared when it comes to sourcing for market. And what I recommended is go to HCDA at the airport. Just visit the place and have an engagement with the officials there. Have an engagement even with the lower ranking staff. So even the guy you might meet at the gate who's going to open it. They know the contacts, they know the networks. And then the other thing is, as she mentioned, the challenge that you said our parents were having was they were doing very little volumes. So to counter that, you can come up with a society or maybe a cooperative that can now do aggregation like the way we do for coffee.
So are you in cooperative societies yourselves?
Not yet, but we are getting there.
That's again another concern kwa sababu cooperative society ni kama ziko lakini bado they have the elderly people, everything from the management to the members. Why again are the young people not very vocal in cooperative society? Wewe kwa nini mpaka saizi hold back from being in a cooperative society?
Maybe I've interacted. I'm also a member to one of these associations that are now affiliated to export.
Right.
That is where now I get to engage with different people, different farmers, and also exporters.
Right.
On cooperatives, you know, most of them are run by the older folks,
Exactly.
older generation, and it's very hard
cooperative.
to come and advocate for change with someone who already knows this is how it works, this is how the system goes. So what I believe is that us as youth should come up with our own cooperatives to be able to, one, aggregate our produce, secondly, bulk purchase of equipment, material, inputs and whatnots. And then now with that, now we can now go and do market sourcing. We can reach out to chain restaurants, tell them we have about 200 farmers of onions who can supply on a regular maybe 30 tons of onions in a week. Yes, and then I think that it will be easier for them to engage us at that level if you have proof of capacity.
Kwa hivyo mnataka management ya cooperatives pia wa accommodate vijana.
Yes.
You come in with the fresh ideas.
Yes.
You know, they make us feel like we don't belong. You know, our points do not have that value to them. You know, because ile mtu anakuangalia like huyu anaongea nini. We've been here for years.
Sisi tumelima kutoka hata kabla uzaliwe.
Yeah. Another thing I can add on is that policy change is usually brought about by the youth. Right. It's very hard to find the older guys, the boomers and the other generations being at a position where they can even entertain change.
Does agriculture pay? Odero, tell us.
Yes, agriculture pays. Na ukulima sio ushamba. But there's the science to it that you need to learn, you need to make time. You attend expos, you attend all these seminars and forums that they organize for farmers. Most of them are usually free, and they usually advocate for, more so if you're youth. Whenever if it's on invitation basis as youth, whenever you apply, there was a training at Kakuzi that was training farmers on proper avocado cultivation. So such events can help you be able to now turn because now you can have the theory, maybe like me, I did a short certificate course, but that did not help me in when I got attacked with black rot for my cabbages. It didn't help me when another disease called purple blotch attacked my onions, you see. So there's the science to it that benchmarking, touring around, visiting other farmers, experience. That's the way now you can now turn your initiative into something that's profitable and self-sustaining. Yes, but ukulima pays. Out of green maize, actually.
I like your slogan. Mkuu
Lima.
Come on.
Mkuu so waku wote wako nyumbani. Limeni.
All right.
Yes.
So I'm going to come to you, Beatrice. Does agriculture pay?
It does.
So your office is your shamba and it's paying you very well.
Actually, even after this, I'm going to my farm.
Kuendelea kuangalia shamba yako.
People are working there.
And you're creating employment for more people who don't need to update their CVs kwa sababu wanalipwa shambani. So niambie, agriculture ilikuchoma aje kama imeshawahi kukuchoma, and after umechomeka ulijipatia je nguvu ya kurudi kwa hiyo shamba ambaye imekuonesha kivumbi?
Yes, nimechomeka. Not once, not twice. The very first time, kuna time kumekuwa na floods. Last year, I had my 1 acre farm somewhere. We used this river, by the way, Chania River.
Right.
Then I don't know what happened. Wakasema wakafungulia dam somewhere huko juu. So ikapitia kwa shamba ikaosha kabisa. Actually, nikidhani mtu amemwagilia acid kwa crop because it dried up and it was very productive. Actually, I've never seen another good production like that.
Oh, that was like a good season for you.
I can show you the photos.
Oh, no. And you lost everything?
Everything.
You didn't harvest even a single?
I had harvested once. And you know, in chili production, like 1 acre, you may spend around, maybe if you're not doing a drip irrigation, you can do around 160, 170,000. And you are sure itarudi, the first 4 harvest, pesa yako inarudi uanze kukulia profit for the next 1 year. So I had harvested once, so hiyo ikanitoka. The other one, it is this year. I was supplied na mbegu zenye si zenye nilioda. When you are doing chilies, you know, like unataka the one that is highly productive, we call it the now F1s, the hybrids. So the person who supplied me with these seedlings, ni kama alini supply seedling maybe F5 or something. And you know, funny enough about it, you've invested your money for like 3 months. You will come just to know about it when it is already under production stage, which is after 3 months. So I went there, I could see the production, the size of the pods were very small. It was not meeting even market standards, you know. I could not even get a buyer who was taking it. So what I did after, like I did the first harvest, and it was not giving me anything. I just asks a tractor guy to come in and
Clear
everything. Actually, I'm now doing the transplanting on Monday.
Finally, Odero, from your experience,
Yes.
wewe ulichomeka wakati upi?
What I'll say as a farmer, first of all, don't let anyone make you grow a crop that no one else can purchase aside from him or them. You see, more so for export. There's someone who made me grow something called ravaya.
Okay, na ravaya hata sijui ni nini.
It looks like an eggplant, but it's long like this, like a cucumber. And they are the only ones who have a buyer. Now they're the ones who now mess you up like a puppet, and they tell you, okay, today we can't take, but we have a friend of ours who can take it at a lower price. Will you sell it to them? And then they are still the friend. That has happened to a lot of farmers. Actually, there was a time I visited Kilifi. They were told to grow castor bean. Yeah? And all the farms, they grew castor bean. I don't know, it was going to be processed to castor oil. And then the company that was selling the seeds disappeared. Be very, very cautious, because I had about a greenhouse. I lost a lot of money on that. I had an agri-consultant who messed me up big time in terms of advice on how to properly cultivate multiple crops. So them, they had the belief that the notion that the more crops we populate in a certain unit area, the more money we can get in the long run, you see. Sadly, that leads to a lot of diseases, pests, and the pest pressure was too much, so the crop didn't even perform in any way. I didn't even manage to recoup the investment for the seedlings.
But that's so mixed farming. So usichanganye vitu mingi. Or what is that?
No. You see now, like this here in the background, there's maize.
Right.
You can find an agri-consultant who's telling you, maybe if in an acre you're meant to have about 25,000 maize plants, stems, the stalks. Someone comes and tells you, add it to 35,000. The more we have, the merrier. Yes. But now, eventually, what happens is, due to competition, you have very substandard, very low quality material, and then they're very tiny, very small. So you take them to the market, they don't even want them. They tell you, make silage with that, give it to cows.
So if a space can accommodate 100 pieces, usikuwe na greedy ya kusema, let me put 150, it will be more harvest for me at the end of the season.
And you don't get any outcome.
All right, thank you for those very honest and deep confessions. But at the end of the day, bado ukulima inalipa, si ndio?
Inalipa.
All right, thank you so very much, Odero and Beatrice, for being with us in this first session of our conversation. Remember, Kenya's Gold is on the ground with young farmers here in Kiambu County, and we really just do want to learn what is holding back the young people from taking up space in the agricultural sector. Now, despite the few challenges here and there, you can still see from their smiles and their excitement that ukulima inalipa, and that's what we are pushing for right here on the program.